How old are you now?
I'm 33.
You're 33?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about the same age. So you went from DC all the way to Las Vegas, which is polar opposites. Like everybody in DC is overeducated, really smart, into politics. Las Vegas is all casinos and strippers. Why did you come to Vegas?
So basically, this is exactly how it happened. I just went to my desk. I was like, okay, I think people in real estate do well. And I was working at Fannie Mae, so we're like kind of in the real estate business, but not really. So I was like, okay, just like real estate. I was thinking like something about real estate in Google. And it was something came up about like real estate was doing really well in Vegas.
Yeah.
So then I talked to my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, hey, what do you know anything about Vegas? And she had family out here. So what I ended up doing is I got a job for a home builder out here because I was like, okay, I still want a job before I kind of like do something different, but like something even closer to the business to understand it a little bit. And then once I figure it out, then I'll jump. So that's what we did. I worked for a home builder. I was working in their land department, figuring out, what parts of town to buy in, what parcels to buy, how much we would make every deal. It was a super, super, super interesting job. I loved it, but the pay wasn't that great. So I did that and then just kept networking. So I was networking and educating myself for like a full year and a half before I did anything.
And how did you network? Where did you find it?
I was going to RIAs. So like, I think that's how we met at the Outback RIA like years ago. I was going to all the RIAs, all the little meetups, meeting people. And I met my partner at the time and we kind of just got to talking. We did one deal, made $10,000 and I was like, okay, I don't have to do too many of these to make more than what I'm making right now. So I'm like, let's just do this. So I just quit my job and went to full on into wholesaling, basically.
Nice. How did you even hear about wholesaling? Was it the RIAs? Did you have an idea of it beforehand?
So I found about the RIAs, but really just typing in like Las Vegas real estate, it takes you to bigger pockets. And then you start going down the rabbit hole of bigger pockets and you learn about wholesaling and buying holds. And obviously when you don't have a lot of capital, wholesaling makes a lot of sense because you don't need a lot of money in the beginning.
Yeah. If someone's getting started right now, how would you tell them to get started?
I would tell them to get started wholesaling just because, well, first network with a lot and just try and partner with someone who's established. So either work for them for a little bit, try to add value. If you're personally wealthy, maybe you can work reverse. You can work with a flipper to maybe kind of partner and like learn the business slowly, but find ways to be valuable to established people, which is kind of how I did it. Like, I think it's a lot harder just jumping in 100%, even if you're taking courses and like educating yourself. There's just so many unknowns. Like that YouTube university will only get you like 90% there. It's that 10% that really makes or breaks success, I think.
Yeah. And you hit it on the head with the RIAs because everything online is just generalized knowledge. And even if I went to North Carolina or Hawaii or, whatever market you go to, it's completely different. Knowing all that with all the flips that you've done in your life, if you start flipping houses in Canada right now, you need to spend some time to figure it out and you should spend some time with a local person who really knows.
Yeah, because you could be really smart in what you currently do, but you probably know nothing or just not enough to be successful in something brand new. So, I would try to find someone, add value, partner with them if you can, or bring them deals, or just learn as much as you can while adding value.
And with your acquisition, so you got really lucky early on getting 8 deals a month.
Yeah.
So, was that your best year? What was your best year in the business?
We were making like 800,000 a year. I don't think we ever hit $1 million, but we were making 800,000 wholesaling like in those years. We weren't necessarily great at marketing.
And that's between the two of you, so split.
Yeah, so we'd split it. So we weren't great at marketing. All we had was really a lot of hustle. And like we were really good at talking because you talk to so many sellers. So, you get used to like rejection really fast. And I think it helps translate into like when you start flipping, now you know all the numbers. And if anything, wholesalers, if you're a successful wholesaler, you're way more conservative probably than the average flipper because you have to try and get a deal even lower because you want to make sure that you can sell it at a higher price.
Yeah.
So I think naturally wholesalers are good because you're going to be naturally more conservative, and it's going to protect you a little bit when you start flipping yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you were making so much money back then. I literally, I didn't know you were crushing it like that, but you still do acquisitions. So you started off as mailers, and if someone wanted to start flipping right now, where do you think the best channel is? Because would you start, if you're going to start over again, brand new, would you start with mailers or would you start with pay-per-click or?
Yeah, if I was starting over right now, I would. So you're flipping or wholesaling?
For wholesaling.
For wholesaling, I would probably, I would network obviously with enough, like as many realtors as I could, because that's just free deals. But that'll only go so far, and that's like not consistent deal flow. It's just kind of here and there. What I would do is really try and partner with someone or convince someone to be like, hey, once I knew my numbers, like, hey, let's spend money on marketing and figure out some like plan to, hey, you put the money, I'm assuming I don't have any money. Let's put some money into, say, direct mail, because that's really kind of where you have to spend a lot of money, but it's like inbound leads. And those leads are very like, they're not like the best, like ready to go, but they're really good.
Do you think direct mail still works?
Yeah, I still do it right now.
How much are you investing in that?
Right now we're doing about $15,000 a month in direct mail.
And how many deals are you getting from that?
So probably about 3 to 4 deals.
A month?
Yeah.
Man, that's killing it.
Yeah. So what I've noticed is it's because we took a little bit of time off of marketing, like in 2021 and 2022 when I was by myself. Wasn't marketing a ton. Now, when I did it again this year, it's been kind of interesting. I've noticed that, maybe the percentage of like callbacks is lower, but I've noticed like my conversion is so much higher. And I have a couple theories. I think one theory is they're just talking to less competitors. So like basically maybe I'm just competing against one other guy or nobody.
Because I don't know anyone doing direct mail right now, except for realtors for listings.
Right.
But that's it.
And they're different. They're trying to get the listing, and the people calling us, they're not trying to list their house usually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm noticing the conversions are a lot higher, and I don't know how long that's going to last, but I think it's because maybe there's just less people. A lot of people took a lot of hits last year. Some people got out of business completely. Some people are still waiting. So,
are you taking all those calls yourself?
We have someone like a VA answering the calls, and then I'll go on the appointments.
Okay. And those VAs are good. Like, are they good at setting the appointment? And I get so many messages every day. Sells your home. Sometimes they'll be like, "Yeah, I want to sell my home," and I still don't talk to anybody. It just hangs up. I say, "Yeah, I would love to sell my home for a discount," and it just hangs up on me. Yeah.
So they're pretty good. Really, it's kind of, there's a couple different philosophies. Some people they get their inbound marketing coming in, and they want to just like close them over the phone. So they'll ask them questions. Hey, what about the house? Why are you trying to sell? And they'll go through the whole sales process and then get the deal. For me personally, because I'm spending maybe $15,000 a month, I don't have like, that's enough leads for me to handle to where I can go on the appointments and and close them. So I can set up the appointments and not be overwhelmed like every week. So I can go like belly to belly and just like work on the deals, which I think is slightly better on average, because you can get a better feel. Because, sellers, they call, a lot of times they're scared, or like they don't want to reveal certain information, or they're embarrassed as to why they want to sell their house. Versus if you meet them in person, a lot of that's going to flush out, and they just feel a lot more comfortable when they see a normal person in front of them.
And it's harder to say no in person. Anytime I want to negotiate a request for repairs, or I'm trying to negotiate anything, if you hear my voice, you're going to be nicer to me than over text message. People are the meanest in text and email. When you hear my voice, it's hard for you to be mean. When we're in person, you're going to be the absolute nicest. I don't know what it is, but it's really, people are just more agreeable in person. Yeah.
I mean, it's much easier, obviously, if you're on the phone with a stranger who you met like 30 minutes ago, just to hang up if you just feel uncomfortable. Versus if in the phone, if you're in person, you're not going to really go anywhere. You're at your house.
And when they see you, I'm sure that you give off vibes that you're not out to, you don't give off sleazy vibes.
Right.
So I'm really curious as to what your close ratio is to others, because there's some people in this business who would have probably just been a drug dealer and they found real estate and they go in like, yo, you want to sell your house? You know, let's make this money. Like their LLC's name is Big Bucks LLC or something like that. And it just gives off the bad vibe. You know, you don't come off with any of the sleazy vibes whatsoever that a lot of wholesalers do.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously you're going to meet certain people and you're just going to click a lot better. So like there would be like a lot of personality things that match. But yeah, I think as long as you just, some people, they go and maybe they meet people and they just act too desperate, you know? So if you're acting too desperate, people will catch on to that immediately. I think it helps now that, you know, I have multiple exit strategies. I can wholesale or I can flip. I also feel like a lot more confident when I'm in meeting a seller because I know I have multiple exit strategies.
When you're meeting them, what is the mindset that you put yourself in? Like basically to frame the conversation, like, hey, are you speaking to them in the frame of, I want to buy your house? Or are you going from the frame of, let me see if this makes sense? Or are you from the frame of, let's talk about your questions, about your problems for 10 minutes and then start the close? Like, what's your process?
So the process, I meet them and I'll set the expectations up front. So I'll be like, hey, I know we talked on the phone. This is, maybe we're going to be here for 15, 20 minutes. Just walk me through the house. And I let them walk through the house. And then like, I ask them questions. Then I'll ask like, hey, why are you trying to sell? You know, what's wrong with this? You know, just natural conversation will come up. But I don't like come in like, hey, I'm trying to get the deal. I just tell them, hey, I phrase it to them, hey, we're meeting here because I'm giving you an option and it's just an option in your tool belt. And they feel really comfortable with that because then they feel like they can say no later.
Yeah.
Versus it's like, hey, this is the deal and I'm going to try and close you at the end of this meeting. Then they're going to be super anxious. So I just come at, hey, this is an option. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get every deal. So I just try to get every deal that is a deal.
How often do you walk away and then they call you later and then make it a deal? Or you call them back like a week later and then make it a deal?
Pretty often. I probably overbook the appointments just because like you can even build a lot of rapport in person that, and this wouldn't work if you were doing even more marketing and you just couldn't handle going to as many appointments. But even just meeting them, they'll be like, okay, they'll be like, oh, well, let me think about it. Or like, no, it won't work. And they might meet with someone else and maybe they just don't like them and then they'll call back. So it happens pretty frequently.
In the mastermind that I'm in, Collective Genius, which is all for flippers and wholesalers, they're really big on, you go on every appointment. So a seller says, hey, a seller's house is worth 400,000. They're like, hey, I'm only going to sell it for 400,000, nothing less. He says you go on that appointment. And then when you're there, they're going to talk about their problems. You're going to talk about like, hey, I'd hate to throw this number, but you know, when we buy it, this is how much we put in. This is how much it's going to be worth on the back end. The only way we can make money with this is if we come in at this number. I know you're going to hate me for it, but you know, this is when you see all these numbers, this is the only way we can make it a deal. But after talking to them and seeing their problems, how they just have to sell, once they're in person, it still ends up being a deal, even though on the phone they were posturing being so high. So even though they postured like it was only 400, nothing less, they end up buying it for like 280.
Yeah, because on the phone, people, especially in the first call, they're trying to be defensive. They're trying to put up their poker face. Yeah, I'm a big believer. Maybe not, I wouldn't say go on every appointment, but like everything that sounds like there's any motivation, you know, like any like real motivation, I'll go on that appointment. Even if they're like ARV's 400 and they're like, I want 380. I'm like, okay, great, I'll go on that appointment. Because you still could get like a listing referral out of something like that, or
yeah. And do you send it off to your wife is a realtor, right?
Yeah, but for those, I just refer them out. My wife is a realtor, but really she just lists some of our flips.
Yeah.
Just to save money on the listing commission. But yeah, I'll just refer those out. I'll just say, hey, come meet a really reputable realtor I work with. They're a great person, and they'll come and close the sale.
Interesting.